Folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and we are here with a review of NXT Takeover Phoenix. The show just went off the air,
for the
guys.
fans.
And I am your host,
really
Conrad Cushman, and we are here with a review of NXT Takeover Phoenix.
I have double play happening here.
The show just went off the air,
for the
guys.
fans.
My apologies for that. I thought I had that muted. That's so I could check out the live chat. But while we are here, guys, let us start talking about this event. Before we get into it, though, do me a favor, guys. If you are watching the show live, make sure you are in the chat box talking with me, giving me your thoughts on the show, checking out everything else. Also, make sure if you like the video, leave a like, and please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the content. Down in the description box below, I will have grades for all of the matches, my overall grades for the show, and I even have my grading system listed down below because some people were asking what's my grading system with the letter grades and everything else. So make sure you guys check all that stuff down below, and if you like everything, make sure you subscribe. And podcast links and everything else are down there, and all the Twitter, Facebook group. My Twitter is right above my head here, at EPW Show, if you want to give me a follow on Twitter, and just talk some pro wrestling, man. But let's get right into it. We have the NXT Takeover Phoenix review. I just got done watching the show with my good friend Phil and Kevin. Shout out to Kevin, too. If you don't know, Kevin made it to the NBA 2K League, so he is in the 150, potentially getting drafted. So shout out to Kevin. I really appreciate my guy. Good job making it. But let's get into this review for NXT TakeOver. Our first match of the night was the NXT Tag Team Title Match. We had the Undisputed Era versus the War Raiders. Let me be the first to say this. The War Raiders had an absolutely cool entrance in this show. It was kind of, I don't know what to call it, like medieval. All these guys came out with the shields and, hey, what's going on, Connor? I see you in the live chat. They came out with the shields, the helmets. Very cool to see the War Raiders and tag team wrestling in general getting a proper entrance on NXT. Something I wish we would see more of on the main roster, but very, very cool to see. So they came out, they had a pretty dope entrance, and Undisputed Era came out, you know, Kyle O'Reilly with the belt, you know, doing the air guitar. Absolutely love it. These guys have been solid tag team champions. Nothing bad to say about the Undisputed Era's second tag title reign. Love it. So the War Raiders in this match, I thought looked very dominant throughout. The War Raiders had a good pace for themselves in this match, showed a lot of power and strength, but also used the Undisputed Era and their bodies in this match. You saw points where Hanson getting body slammed on top of the guys in Undisputed Era, and even the Undisputed Era, like Roderick Strong getting slammed on Kyle O'Reilly or vice versa. They showed a lot of dominance in this match, and I like that. Hanson came through with a great comeback in this match. Absolutely love when he got into the ring. He comes in, he's cartwheeling, he's jumping into people, he's doing Bronco Busters. At one point, he was doing everything. So Hanson was really someone who you got to look out for in the tag team with the War Raiders. He surprises you because you don't think a man of that size is going to be doing cartwheels and flipping around and jumping off the top rope and off the apron. So kudos to him for that. Nothing but respect. And like I said, if you guys are on here, make sure you're in the live chat, you know, leaving some comments and stuff. Talk with Connor. He's in there right now, messaging. I felt like a lot of people were really quiet about this show. I thought it was really decent. So we had a great spot in this match where they did the pop-up where they throw the guy into the ropes, pop him up, and then the other guy from the War Raiders catches him and slams him down. I thought it was over there. 1, 2, there was a big kick out that happened by Kyle O'Reilly, and that ended up leading to a superplex from the top rope by Roderick Strong. And dude, I couldn't believe it. And then there was a knee drop from Kyle O'Reilly after Roderick Strong did the suplex right on I want to say it was Rowe. Maybe it was Hanson though. No, I think it was Hanson. A knee drop right onto his throat. I could not believe it when I was watching that. Absolutely crazy. So they're throwing everything at the War Raiders, but they're kicking out. And eventually Hansen nails the springboard, like double back elbow. Like I said, he went crazy once again in the match. And if you're sitting up here and you're watching it, he just starts going in on them, and they set up for the fallout. 1, 2, 3. We have new NXT Tag Team Champions in the War Raiders. I thought it was a really good match. Like, nothing to complain about when it comes down to this match. They did a really good job with it. Overall, I gave it a grade of a B+. It was teeter-tottering around that A- level. So, big shout out to those guys for that. Excellent work. Excellent work by both tag teams. Sad to see the Undisputed Era lose here. I don't know if this means that they're going up to the main roster or if they're going to be doing like the rematch game into WrestleMania weekend now. Very hard to say. All right. Let's get into our next match. We had Matt Riddle, bro, and he ended up facing Kassius Ohno. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Big shout out to Kassius Ohno for his throwback Phoenix Suns gear. Reminded me of the Barkley era, even a little Jason Kidd. So pretty cool to see that. The first spot in this match that I can really remember was the classic Kassius Ohno's on the apron. He gets hit. Matt Riddle flips over to go for the powerbomb onto the floor, and he ends up holding onto the ropes, and he sees that the ring skirt's laying there, puts it over his face and stomps him right in the face. In this match, Matt Riddle took some brutal shots to the mouth, man. He got kicked, like he got his teeth kicked right down his throat by Kassius Ohno at one point, and I really was feeling for the guy. Like, dang, dude, absolutely horrible. Yeah, he took some big hits. Oh, the nastiest spot of the night. I would probably say, like, disgusting. Kassius Ohno ended up biting Matt Riddle's big toe. And, you know, he basically wrestles with no shoes on his feet or anything. And Kassius Ohno to bite his foot is absolutely disgusting, dude. Like, ugh. I don't know. Freaking nasty, man. Not a fan of that. Really don't understand how or why that even had to occur, but freaking gross. So after that, Kassius Ohno is fighting back, but he ends up getting caught in an array of strikes by a Matt Riddle who is doing a comeback, basically. Matt Riddle ends up getting Kassius Ohno in a sitting position, wraps his arm around him, and starts landing those elbows like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan used to use all the time. And in the end, Matt Riddle ends up getting the victory here by tap out. Kassius Ohno taps out to elbows. It's very different to see something like that because that's more of a UFC style type move. But I liked it because you never know when a match is going to end. And basically Matt Riddle had him. And there was nothing left for Kassius Ohno to do but tap out. And overall grade for that one was a B-. Not too bad. But this next match that we're going to talk about, guys, this was easily match of the night. NXT North American title match. We had Ricochet versus Johnny Gargano. And I've got lots of notes on this one, guys. Dude, great attires for both guys is the first thing I've written down in my notes here. Johnny Gargano came out. I don't know if he was supposed to be Human Torch, Ghost Rider, if it was the Cavs colors, whatever. But he came out with the red and yellow attire on. Not like Hogan red and yellow, but more like a burgundy, like the Cavaliers. And Ricochet came out with like a really dope Spider-Man type of hoodie. One that any superhero fan would appreciate. And dude, I can't wait to read the comments and see what the live chat thought of this match for the NXT North American title, because it was crazy. Before they even locked up, fans were chanting, going crazy for these two. And I thought that it deserved it for this one. It was the ASU color scheme. You know what? Someone else said that too. Connor, it could have been multiple things. I don't know if it was for ASU, if it was for Cavaliers, because that's his hometown, Human Torch, whatever you guys want to say. I don't care. Johnny Gargano's attire was dope, and so was Ricochet's. So the fans chanted. They had a fun exchange in the beginning with a lot of like takedowns and head scissors. So Gargano's going for head scissors, hurricanranas, and Ricochet is just popping up out of them, basically landing on his hands and landing on his feet. Like, no. Oh, Connor, I agree. My favorite match of the night too, dude. Like, so freaking dope. So he's over there. He's doing pop-ups. He's flipping up. He's going crazy. And Gargano's getting, like, really pissed off by all of this. And eventually, after all those takedowns happen, Ricochet ends up getting the best of him. He knocks him down. There was a great middle rope moonsault that looked flawless. If you follow anybody who does, like, the tweets or the GIFs of tweets for in wrestling moves on Twitter, those guys all had it up. It was a beautiful moonsault from the second rope. Thing of beauty. It looked effortless on Ricochet's part, and that's what scares me about him. He's so good that he makes things look easy. Now, after that part in the match, we had Gargano's right knee pad. Now, I don't know if this is something a lot of people notice. Connor, you let me know if you noticed this too. But Johnny Gargano's right knee pad had a black heart on it. And I don't know if anybody caught that, but I was looking at it and I was just like, oh, that's weird. And it was like Ciampa's logo on his right knee pad. So if you go back and watch that match and you didn't notice it, look at his right knee pad in some of the spots where it's visible. He had something on there resembling a heart. So I don't know if anyone else is going to notice that do reviews, but that's why you guys check out this channel, and it's the best channel, right? So after that, he shows the right knee pad, and it makes you wonder if there's going to be like a DIY or something foreshadowing coming in the match. Gargano basically, so he's on the offensive end in this match. He's chopping, going to work, and he ends up getting Ricochet on the, basically in that sitting position, kind of like how I am, but he's on the top rope. And they're doing the classic, oh, we're going to do a hurricanrana flip over. Johnny Gargano does that. Hurricanrana flips over. Ricochet does like a triple flip and lands on his feet. Like, oh, that's it? That's all you were going to do? Yeah, absolutely, Connor. About the foreshadowing. I'll get into it later on. I see what you're talking about, though. Gargano blocked the hurricanrana flip, landed onto his feet. We saw some WWE like 2K20 like worthy OMGs. So if anybody is out there making the game or listening, Brian Williams, anybody, dude, some of these moves in this match were crazy. We got to have these in there. Gargano like basically runs over to the back part. So like if you're playing a video game and you try to dive out on someone through the ropes, there's the space to where you could get them, but you can go hide basically over by the other side where the ring post is, because you're like, oh, no one's going to jump over the ring post. Not in this match. Ricochet does an amazing flip over the ring post to land on Johnny Gargano. Just amazing stuff, dude. Amazing. There was even at one point Ricochet gets Gargano back in the ring. He goes for a shooting star press. Once again, looks effortless, a thing of beauty. And as soon as he goes for the press, he ends up getting the roll up done. And you think it's over. 1, 2. He barely kicks out at the right time. I thought it was going to be over there, but it wasn't. Absolutely tremendous match. So Gargano goes to the outside and he pulls up the mat. Very weird to see shades of Tommaso Ciampa while this is going on. So he pulled up the mat. He's sitting out there and he's looking at it. The referee's telling him, no, you don't want to do it like this. He has him with a DDT position. Gargano backs off of it. He's like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And I can't even be mad at him for not wanting to. So he doesn't do it. And eventually goes back outside. The mat gets pulled up again. And what happens to him? A like brain buster suplex gets done onto Ricochet. And we saw shades of Ciampa. Maybe that black heart on the knee pad foreshadowed that. But dude, Johnny Gargano does what he has to do for it. After he gets up on the concrete, Johnny Gargano brings him into the ring, hits him with another slingshot DDT, the one he always uses. And at the end, right before he hit it, he yelled, "I win." And 1, 2, 3. Johnny Gargano becomes your new NXT North American champion. Dude, unbelievable match. Overall, great. I gave it an A. I thought it was a tremendous match. It wasn't in that classic territory where it's must see, but this was match of the night. This is something worth your time, and I would really expect people to at least check that out. Job well done by both gentlemen in this match. Easily match of the night. Really good stuff there. Next match, we have the NXT Women's Title Match. And, Connor said after the slam on the concrete, he looks like he was expecting the bell to ring after that. I'm happy that they didn't do a DQ right there. They're very weird sometimes about stuff like that, and I'm glad that they didn't do that. Thank goodness, because that would have ruined it. That sounds like main roster stuff that we would see, and that's the last thing that I want on this one. So we get to the NXT Women's Title Match, and in this match we had Shayna Baszler, the current champ, versus Bianca Belair, the EST of NXT. And they had a brutal match. Like a match that you would think doesn't look like it hurts. Oh, it hurt at the end of this. These ladies are feeling it. So we get a good spot with Bianca Belair's ponytail in the beginning of the match. They're both on the outside. They end up on opposite sides of the ring post. But Bianca Belair's ponytail is very long. And I don't know if people have ever noticed this, but Shayna Baszler ends up grabbing it and pulling her towards it, kind of like they do in like the strap matches and everything else. Pulled her towards her, and she ended up hitting her head on the ring post. Looked brutal. And besides her head, they actually go for the shoulder injury. So I believe it was her left shoulder that they started saying was hurting from this, and that's the focus of Shayna Baszler's attack for this match. This one really slowed down from the previous match, but absolutely you had to expect that due to the fact that you just had an amazing match with Ricochet and Gargano. This match isn't going to be some super speedy match, and it doesn't fit either lady's style to go like super fast or crazy. So we sit in here and we're watching this one, and you see a lot of big strikes, stomps to the elbow, moves to the shoulder, submissions. I was okay with it. It felt a little bit slower and plotty, but I'm not mad at it. I thought that they did what they had to do. The ladies were out there putting on a show, and I was entertained by this match. Let's get to the finish, though. So for the NXT Women's title, we saw a ref bump where eventually one of the ladies ended up crashing into the female referee, the one that went to the Dudley Boys School. She went down. Bianca Belair then hits her finisher. There's no one around to count the 3 count. Bianca becomes frustrated, starts screaming. Well, who shows up but Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke? They come in to interfere in the match, but Bianca Belair gets rid of them. But as you know, in all wrestling matches, by that time Shayna Baszler gets up and she's trying to lock in her submission. She's got the submission locked in. And you think right here, you're like, oh, it's over. She's done. She's got to tap out. No. Bianca Belair stands up on her own 2 feet and gets out of this move. She develops a little bit of a comeback. I don't like the ref bumps. They're overused. Yeah, to each of their own, Connor. I think if you do it right in the match, though, I didn't hate it in this one. I thought it was well used because you had to figure out a way to get the interference in there without people getting caught. But also, you could have booked this without it, too. I mean, I'm not going to battle it. This is what they decided to do. Whatever. So, afterwards, Bianca Belair gets out. She gets a little bit of a comeback, gets Baszler down on the mat. She's going up to the top rope. Shafir and Jessamine Duke, I think it was Duke who tried to get up on the apron. She gets kicked in the face for her troubles, lands on Marina Shafir on the outside. They're both down. Marina Shafir was sporting a face mask, too, so I don't know if she broke her nose or what. But both those ladies are down. Bianca Belair looks. She's twirling her hair. And then all of a sudden, she goes for a 450 splash. But Shayna Baszler moves out of the way. And after that, it looks like it's a GG because she locks in that Karafuda clutch submission. And Bianca Belair tries to get up again, but it was like this long process too. Let me say that. Like, it felt like it went on for way too long, in my opinion, and they should have probably ended it a little bit quicker. But they had Bianca Belair trying to fight, but she passes out in the Karafuda clutch. And your winner and still NXT Women's Champion, Shayna Baszler. A a decent match. Overall grade, a B-. I didn't think it was horrible. I thought that they went in there, they did what they had to do, and it wasn't that bad. And shout out to everybody in the live chat if you're watching. If you got thoughts on this match or anything else about this show, please leave it in the chat section for me, and I'll read it out loud here on the show. But B- for the NXT Women's Title Match. And everything at this point is setting up for the main event of the evening for the NXT Championship. Excuse me. So, we get to the NXT title match. Tommaso Ciampa versus Aleister Black. Is that for the overall show, Connor? Connor says he gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I'm not sure, Connor, if you're talking about the overall show or just that match. But, so we get to the NXT title match. It's Tommaso Ciampa, Aleister Black. And first thing I noticed on this one is Ciampa has a black heart on his left knee pad. Very odd that I noticed the little things like that. And I think Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa's storyline has been very foreshadowing, and everything is happening for a reason. And we'll get into that a little bit towards the end here. So I noticed that he had that on his knee pad, and Aleister Black's left knee became the focus after he went for a dive onto the floor, and he's kind of limping around, and Tommaso Ciampa went right after it. He suplexed his leg into the stairs, threw him into the stairs, did whatever he had to do. Oh, he said that was for his rating for the women's match. All right. He suplexed him into the stairs. Really good stuff there. And during that part of the match, Ciampa zeroed in on the knee. That was all he was working on, slamming it into announcer tables, whatever he had to do. And throughout the match, I mean, Aleister Black's getting his strikes in. He's doing whatever he has to do still. Just, it was different, you know? And I'm not mad at it. I thought that it was well done. Still very cool to see it happen throughout the match. But it just felt different to see this match like kind of go back and forth. It wasn't like one person dominated throughout. More so Ciampa, but nobody was dominant in this match. So as I said, Black and Ciampa, they exchanged strikes for a little bit throughout the match. There was a lot of teasing, roll-ups, everything that you would come to expect in an NXT Takeover match. Great transitions from Ciampa at one point. So the first big spot of the match, I thought, was when he hit that black mass out of nowhere. It lands right on Ciampa's jaw. I thought he caught him really good with that. And he goes down, and Aleister crawls over so slow because his knee's hurting. And the moment he goes to put his arm on him, Tommaso Ciampa rolls over. And he can't, there's no pinfall because his shoulders aren't down. So this sets up a little bit again, and he goes for another black mass, but Ciampa ducks this time. He goes to roll him up, and Aleister Black looks like he's trying to roll out of it, but he's next to the ropes. Well, he rolls right through the middle rope to the outside, and he basically rolled himself right into a draping DDT. Absolutely sweet transition. I don't know if they planned that or if it happened by accident, but way to take advantage of that spot. I thought it was so cool. And he ends up hitting a draping DDT in that match. And as soon as I think it's over, he doesn't even go for the pinfall. He picks him up and hits the fairy tale ending, which is his, how do I call it? He hooks your arms, stands up, and drops you on your face. Basically, the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels' old finisher. He goes for the pin. 1, 2, kick out by Aleister Black. Aleister Black continues to fight. But in the end, once he has the opportunity to hit the black mass again, his knee has been jacked up beyond belief because there were some spots where he got his knee messed up again. And he goes for the black mass, but his knee gives out a little bit, and that gives Ciampa the chance to strike. He hits another fairy tale ending. 1, 2, 3. Ciampa wins. The man of NXT that is the puppet master, the evil one, ends up getting the victory. And a weird fact about this show is that puts Aleister Black, that was his first loss ever at NXT Takeover. He has won every match before that. So Aleister Black is now 7-1 at NXT Takeover, and I just thought it was a crazy stat. The match really felt like it fell off kind of from the show, and it felt like it was dragging. You gave this match a 5, Connor. All right. That one I'm not going to agree with on that one. I gave it a B. I mean, I don't know what that would equate to in your star system, but I gave it a B. I thought it was good. It wasn't bad by any means. It's just I think I had a little bit of higher expectations for it. I was hoping to be in that B plus range, but it fell a little short to me for how the match worked out. So in the end, you have Tommaso Ciampa in the ring. He's celebrating, and time feels like it's going way too slow in this one. So you sit there and you're like, man, I wonder what's about to happen. Ciampa gets to the top of the stage. He's celebrating. Mauro Ranallo is basically selling you the Royal Rumble weekend and what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, who comes out but Johnny Gargano with his newly won NXT North American Championship. And he looks at him, and I thought maybe he was going to attack him, shades of when they broke up. But instead, Johnny Gargano walks out with the belt, and he holds his title up next to Tommaso Ciampa holding his title up. And we see DIY celebrating with both titles on top of the ramp as NXT Takeover closes out. Overall, guys, I thought it was a good show. I give it a grade of a B, just like the main event. Not bad. Not bad at all. Did I expect this to be better? To each of their own. I think that NXT always produces a good show, so this is something that I'm very happy with. I am not mad at what this show delivered at all. I thought that they did a good job, and NXT TakeOver is always a pleasure to watch. Yes, sir. Matt Smith, what's happening, brother? Great to have you in here. We're just talking about the end of the show. If you have any thoughts, please feel free to leave your thoughts in here. If you're subscribed, thank you. If not, check out the channel, subscribe, and leave a like if you could, please, sir. Let's see here. Connor had some thoughts here. Don't use stars, just numbers. Okay. The card was real fun to watch. I agree, Connor. Like I said, sitting there hanging out with your friends watching the NXT TakeOver, nothing wrong with it. I'm surprised, though, when I do like reviews for NXT TakeOver, they don't get more reaction from people. I thought people would like to talk about a good show more, but it seems like people would rather come in and dump on either a really bad show, or people would rather let their thoughts be known about a main roster show. And maybe the main roster is still more popular. I'm not sure. But I absolutely adore NXT. Like, I think it's great. I don't understand how anybody could not enjoy these cards. They have storytelling, great matches. That's exactly what we want in wrestling in 2019. By the way, little sidebar, AEW's Cody Rhodes and Hangman Page showed up at an indie show in Connecticut. Did a couple spots. Absolutely genius for them to be traveling around, showing up at indie shows randomly, getting fans to buy into their product. So just wanted to let you guys know that if you didn't see it on Twitter during the show. Matt Smith says, I will say, though, that I like the fact that Johnny Wrestling is basically a good version of Two-Face. I may have to have Matt Smith explain that. I like the superhero analogies with this Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa storyline that's been developing. And even if we could play Fantasy Booker towards the end, I want to know what you guys think is going to happen, Connor and Matt. What is going to happen with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa going forward? Like, what's their story? What's the end game here for WrestleMania weekend? I was repping the AEW shirt tonight. Yes, I did see that in your live stream, Connor. Connor was repping AEW. So here's how I see it going. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, I feel like, need to have a match at this next WrestleMania show. And I think it's time for those guys to have the final match. Basically, maybe both titles are on the line. The NXT North American title versus the NXT Championship. Winner basically loses everything. And I don't know how you're going to decide this or what's the next part of this story, but I really feel like that you could tell a great story with all of this. And I don't know, dude. I just feel like this storyline is, everything is happening for a reason, and I still can't piece it together, but I feel like it's got to end with Gargano versus Ciampa in a match. I don't know how you guys feel. Let's see what they are saying here. I was repping the AEW shirt. Yes, we saw that. Heel, DIY, reunited, and win the tag titles. So Connor's thinking that they come back together, win the NXT Tag Team Championships, and they hold all the gold in NXT. Matt Smith, so basically them going together just like in the Dark Knight. That's how I feel the storyline is going. Matt, I love that point. Excellent point, my guy. Very interesting to see that. I absolutely love Matt's idea. I'm a big superhero movie fan and comic book fan and everything else too. Hence why I really was thinking Human Torch, Ghost Rider with the Gargano attire, as I explained earlier in the vid. But definitely cool to see where this ends up. And I think we have a lot of good NXT TV leading into WrestleMania weekend, when we are going to have all of these amazing matches, and who knows what to expect afterwards. But we got a lot of stuff to take care of and do during that time, guys. Overall, though, I thought this was a good show, and a show that anybody could watch with their friends. And don't forget, guys, I will be back tomorrow with a Royal Rumble review immediately after. I'm hopefully going to be joined by Josh Burton of the Everything College Basketball podcast. He is a huge wrestling fan. His brother Peyton may also join us, but I look forward to talking that show with those guys. I will be using Google Hangouts for that one, so if you guys happen to want to come in, or if we could get even one or two more people, I don't want a bunch in there talking, but one or two more people, give our thoughts on the Royal Rumble, that'll be dope. As well, if you guys are not a part of the Facebook group for Everything Pro Wrestling, we have about 220 members. Look for that logo that you guys see on your right if you're watching on a computer monitor or a phone or whatever. That logo, that's the one you're going to see for the Everything Pro Wrestling Facebook group. We have a Royal Rumble pool. All 30 spots are filled, but if you are in the Royal Rumble pool, I will have your numbers tomorrow. My plan is to potentially stream it live on Periscope on Twitter, so that's why I'm telling you, give me a follow at EPW Show. We will have all the numbers out. I'll post them. Don't forget, your numbers count for both the men and women's Royal Rumble. And it's Rumble weekend. Everybody's excited because this is leading down towards the road to WrestleMania. They're going to be in New York City. People are hyped about this. Hopefully we get a good Rumble. I mean, last year Nakamura won. He's in the pre-show. We need something that's going to happen, have consequences, and actually do something. So I'm looking forward to that. And big shout out to everybody in the live chat. I thank you guys so much. Shout out to Connor and Matt Smith. They were in there talking. If you guys took a few seconds to stop by and show me some love to check out the show, I appreciate it. Once again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Check out all the stuff in the description, my grading rubric, my grades for this show, and everything else. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video. I'm out, guys. It's been a long night, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. Peace.